Mosasaurus, the real sea dragon of the Cretaceous. In the final moments of the age of dinosaurs, as titanic beasts like Tyrannosaurus rex ruled the land, the world's oceans were home to a different kind of monster. A creature not of myth, but of flesh and bone. A predator of such immense size and power that it claimed the title of undisputed apex predator of the seas. We have seen it in blockbuster films, a leviathan leaping from the water to snatch its prey. But what was the real animal behind the legend? This is the story of Mosasaurus. Its very name, Mosasaurus, means lizard of the Meuse River, a hint to its surprising origins. For this colossal sea creature, stretching up to 56 feet, 17 meters, in length, was not a dinosaur. It was in fact a true lizard, a gigantic marine reptile closely related to the monitor lizards and snakes that live among us today. In an astonishing evolutionary sprint, its ancestors left the land and returned to the water, transforming into the ultimate sea dragon in a geological blink of an eye. How did this giant sea lizard rise to dominate every ocean on Earth in the twilight of the Cretaceous? What anatomical secrets allowed it to hunt and swallow almost any creature it encountered, from giant ammonites to other massive marine reptiles? And how did the discovery of its very first fossil, a giant jawbone unearthed in an 18th century European quarry, help ignite a scientific revolution and prove, for the first time, the shocking reality of extinction? Join us as we dive into the deep past to uncover the true story of Mosasaurus, the last and perhaps greatest ruler of the ancient seas. The story of Mosasaurus begins not in a remote desert, but in the heart of Europe, long before the word dinosaur was ever spoken. The year is 1764. In the subterranean chalk quarries of St. Peter's Mountain, near the city of Maastricht in the Netherlands, workers carving out limestone blocks stumbled upon something extraordinary, a partial skull of a colossal, unknown creature embedded in the ancient rock. The fossil, eventually acquired by Lieutenant Jean-Baptiste Drouin, was studied by the local army surgeon and fossil enthusiast, Dr. Johann Hoffmann. Hoffmann was perplexed. The skull was immense, armed with formidable conical teeth. A few years later, around 1780, an even more spectacular, near-complete skull was unearthed. This magnificent specimen was claimed by the canon of Maastricht Cathedral, Willem Goding, whose land lay above that part of the quarry. Dr. Hoffmann was thrilled and continued to study the fossil, but its ownership would soon become the subject of legendary conflict. The backdrop to this scientific puzzle was the turmoil of the French Revolutionary Wars. In 1794, as the French Revolutionary Army laid siege to the city of Maastricht, the great fossil became a target. The French representative with the army, Augustin Lucy de Friesen, had been charged by Paris to secure the famous specimen. Legend has it that the cannon hid the fossil to protect it, but its location was betrayed to the French, who triumphantly seized it as spoils of war. The great animal of Maastricht, as it was known, was loaded onto a barge and shipped down the Meuse River to Paris, destined for the National Museum of Natural History. In Paris, the fossil fell under the scrutiny of one of history's greatest scientific minds, Georges Cuvier. At the time, the concept of extinction was not widely accepted. Many believed that strange fossils must belong to animals still living in some unexplored corner of the world. Cuvier, a pioneer of comparative anatomy, meticulously studied the Maastricht jaw. He noted its lizard-like features, but its immense size. By comparing it to living reptiles, he concluded with certainty that it was an extinct, giant marine lizard, a sea dragon from a lost world. His 1808 paper on the subject was a landmark moment. It provided irrefutable proof that species could, and did, go extinct, a cornerstone of modern paleontology and evolutionary biology. The Mosasaurus, before it even had its official name, had already helped change our fundamental understanding of Earth's history. It was one of the very first prehistoric reptiles to be recognized for what it was, paving the way for the dinosaur discoveries that would follow decades later. So what was the creature that so astounded the naturalists of the 18th century? freed from the rock and reconstructed through decades of scientific study. The true Mosasaurus emerges as a predator of terrifying efficiency and power. The genus Mosasaurus, particularly the type species Mosasaurus hoffmannii, named in honor of the original Studious doctor, was among the largest of its kind, reaching formidable lengths of up to 17 meters or 56 feet, as long as a large bus. This was an air-breathing reptile that had returned to the sea and, in doing so, had become a true leviathan. Unlike the sleek, dolphin-like ichthyosaurs or the long-necked plesiosaurs that preceded them, mosasaurs were built on a different plan. Their bodies were elongated, powerful, and streamlined. Their limbs had evolved from walking legs into steering hydrofoils or flippers, which they likely used for stability and fine-tuned maneuvering rather than for primary propulsion. The real engine was the tail. Early reconstructions depicted mosasaurs swimming like eels or sea snakes by undulating their entire body. However, discoveries of exceptionally preserved fossils of related mosasaurs, like Plotosaurus, have revealed impressions of soft tissue showing a distinct, crescent-shaped fluke at the end of the tail, much like that of a shark, but oriented vertically. This suggests Mosasaurus propelled itself with powerful, side-to-side beats of its tail, a far more efficient and powerful method of swimming, turning it from a simple sea serpent into a high-performance aquatic torpedo. The true business end of the Mosasaurus was its head. The skull was massive, sometimes over 1.5 meters long, and robustly built, but its true, secret weapon lay in its jaws. Like their modern relatives, snakes, mosasaurs had a kinetic or flexible skull. The lower jaws were not fused at the chin, and they possessed a double-hinged joint within the jaw itself, a feature known as streptostole. This allowed them to dramatically widen their gape, enabling them to swallow enormous prey whole. And if that wasn't enough, Mosasaurus had a second set of teeth. In addition to the large, conical, slightly recurved teeth lining its main jaws, perfect for piercing and gripping, it also possessed a smaller set of teeth on the pterygoid bones of its palate, or the roof of its mouth. As a Mosasaurus swallowed its struggling prey, these palatal teeth would engage, acting like an internal ratchet, preventing the victim from escaping by pushing it inexorably down its throat. This deadly combination of a wide gape and gripping palatal teeth made escape virtually impossible. What was on the menu for this apex predator? The simple answer is almost anything it wanted. Fossil evidence paints a picture of a generalist hypercarnivore. Stomach contents and bite marks on other fossils reveal a varied diet that included large fish, sharks, sea turtles like the giant archelon, ammonites, whose shells they could likely crush with their powerful jaws, and even other marine reptiles, including plesiosaurs and small mosasaur species. There is even speculation they may have ambushed seabirds or even land-dwelling dinosaurs that ventured too close to the water's edge. Mosasaurus was an opportunistic hunter, the undisputed king of the late Cretaceous seas. As a fully marine, air-breathing reptile, Mosasaurus faced the same reproductive challenge as whales and dolphins today: how to give birth without returning to land. While we lack a smoking gun fossil of a pregnant Mosasaurus hoffmannii, evidence from smaller, related mosasaurs strongly indicates that they were viviparous, giving birth to live, well-developed young in the water. This adaptation was absolutely essential for their global dominance, freeing them from any reliance on terrestrial nesting sites and allowing them to roam the open oceans. A newborn Mosasaurus would have been a formidable predator in its own right, perhaps several meters long at birth, ready to begin its reign in the prehistoric seas. The reign of the Mosasaurus was spectacular, but relatively brief. They evolved late in the Cretaceous, radiating into dozens of species and sizes worldwide, filling the apex predator niches left vacant by the decline of other giant marine reptile groups like the pliosaurs and ichthyosaurs. For the last 20 million years of the Mesozoic era, they were the masters. Their fossils are found globally, from North America's western interior seaway to Europe, Africa, Asia, and even Antarctica, testament to their incredible success. But their dominance was tied to the fate of the dinosaurs. When the asteroid struck 66 million years ago, the subsequent collapse of marine ecosystems wiped out the mosasaurs completely, bringing the reign of the great sea lizards to an abrupt and final end. For centuries, Mosasaurus was known primarily from its spectacular skulls and skeletal fragments. But in the 21st century, a wave of new discoveries and technologies is fundamentally reshaping our understanding of these sea dragons, adding incredible new details of skin, color, and physiology to the fossil bones. One of the most visually stunning updates to the Mosasaurus image concerns its tail. For over a century, they were depicted with simple, tapering, eel-like tails. However, in 2013, a groundbreaking study led by paleontologist Johan Lindgren described exceptionally preserved fossils of the Mosasaur prognathodon. These fossils included clear soft tissue impressions of a large, bilobed tail fluke, very similar in shape to that of a shark. This discovery, supported by evidence from other mosasaur species, revolutionized our understanding of their locomotion. The Mosasaurus was not an undulating sea serpent. It was a powerful, sharp-tailed cruiser capable of incredible bursts of speed. This single discovery transformed our vision of its silhouette and predatory capabilities. Even the color of these ancient leviathans is no longer pure speculation. Microscopic examination of fossilized skin impressions from another mosasaur species has revealed the presence of preserved melanosomes, the tiny organelles that contain melanin pigment. The shape and density of these fossilized melanosomes can be compared to those in modern animals to infer color. The evidence suggests that at least some mosasaurs were dark-skinned, particularly on their dorsal, upper side. This would have provided excellent camouflage in the deep ocean and possibly aided in thermoregulation. A dark upper body and a lighter underbelly, known as countershading, is a common trait in modern marine predators like great white sharks and orcas, helping them ambush prey from below. Mosasaurus was likely a creature of dark, imposing colors, not the vibrant greens and blues of early paintings. The question of their metabolism is also being explored with new techniques. Were they cold-blooded like modern lizards, or did they possess an elevated, warm-blooded metabolism to power their active, predatory lifestyle in the vast oceans? Isotopic analysis of their bones and teeth allows scientists to estimate their average body temperature. Studies on mosasaur fossils suggest they maintained a consistently high body temperature, significantly warmer than the surrounding seawater. This points towards them being endothermic or warm-blooded, at least to some degree. This high-octane physiology would have been necessary to fuel their rapid growth and reign as the ocean's top predators. Modern research also emphasizes the incredible diversity within the Mosasauridae family. Mosasaurus itself was the giant generalist, but its relatives evolved into a spectacular array of specialists. There were shell-crushing specialists like globidins with rounded, robust teeth for pulverizing ammonites and turtles. There were small, swift, fish-eating specialists, and still other giant apex predators like Tylosaurus. Understanding this diversity shows that mosasaurs didn't just occupy one niche, they conquered the entire marine ecosystem, adapting to fill almost every available predatory role in the late Cretaceous seas. Despite these incredible advances, the book on Mosasaurus is far from closed. Paleontologists continue to ask new questions and seek new evidence that could further illuminate the lives of these magnificent sea lizards. The future of mosasaur research lies in uncovering even finer details of their biology and behavior. A primary goal is the discovery of more exceptionally preserved fossils. While we have evidence for tail flukes and skin color from some species, finding a mummy, a fossil with extensive, articulated soft tissues like skin, muscle, and internal organs, for a giant like Mosasaurus hoffmannii would be a paleontological holy grail. Such a find could definitively answer questions about the presence of blubber for insulation, the precise structure of its internal organs, and the full texture and pattern of its skin. Each new fossil, even fragmentary ones, from new locations or geological layers, add a vital data point to our understanding of their evolution and global distribution. Understanding their social lives remains a significant challenge. Were these giant predators solitary hunters, like most large sharks today, or did they exhibit more complex social behaviors? Did they congregate to mate or give birth in specific nursery areas? Did they ever cooperate to hunt? Direct evidence is incredibly scarce, but careful analysis of bone beds, sites with multiple individuals of different ages preserved together, or the discovery of specific types of bite marks indicating intraspecific combat could offer tantalizing clues into their social dynamics. The application of advanced geochemical analysis to mosasaur teeth and bones will continue to yield profound insights. By analyzing the isotopic ratios of different elements that accumulated in a Mosasaurus's teeth over its lifetime, scientists can potentially reconstruct its migratory patterns, tracking its journeys across the ancient oceans. These chemical signatures can also reveal more precise details about dietary shifts as the animal grew from a juvenile to a massive adult. This is like reading a life story written in chemistry, locked away for 66 million years. Finally, integrating all this new data into ever more powerful computer simulations will allow us to resurrect Mosasaurus with unprecedented realism. We can model not just its movement, but its entire life within a simulated Cretaceous ecosystem, testing hypotheses about its hunting strategies, its interactions with prey and competitors, and its sensitivity to environmental changes. These digital worlds will bring us closer than ever to understanding what it was truly like to be the apex predator in Earth's last prehistoric sea. From an enigmatic jawbone in an 18th century quarry to a global cinematic icon, the journey of Mosasaurus is a powerful story of scientific discovery. It is a creature that not only dominated its own time, but also fundamentally shaped our own, providing some of the first irrefutable proof of extinction in a world unimaginably older and stranger than was ever conceived. We now see Mosasaurus not as a simple sea serpent, but as a highly evolved, warm-blooded, sharp-tailed marine lizard, a supreme predator born of an incredible evolutionary burst. It was a latecomer to the Mesozoic stage, but it seized its moment, rising to rule the oceans with terrifying efficiency in the final chapters of the Age of Reptiles. Its reign was absolute, but ultimately tethered to the fate of its time. The story of Mosasaurus is a potent reminder of the dynamic, ever-changing nature of life on our planet, where dynasties can rise and fall in the blink of a geological eye. Though its thunderous reign was brought to a sudden close by a cataclysm from the heavens, its magnificent fossils continue to inspire awe and drive scientific inquiry. The great lizard of the Meuse may be gone, but its powerful legacy, etched in stone and science, endures, a timeless symbol of the savage beauty and ultimate fragility of life in the ancient world.